Kumakakai kenai ahi ilawe Kapapalohi mai a o maukele Kumakakai kenai ahi ilawe Kapapalohi mai a o maukele Kapele mau au I kanui manu Au wala au ne puni waipi o Pakele mau au I kanui manu Au wala nai ne puni waipi o Aole no hao e loa a mai Ai hui vai ao no ke kuahiri Aole no hao e loa a mai Ai hui vai ao no ke kuahiri E hiva au nā kamakua Ai lei a I nā ke kupuna E hiva au nā kamakua Ai lei a I nā ke kupuna Haina ia mai ana ka Puamana O makakai kenai ahi I lawe Haina ia mai ana ka Puamana O makakai kenai ahi I lawe I lawe I lawe I lawe Somewhere in Hawaii There's a bluebird of paradise Building castles beneath the skies For lovers with starry eyes Somewhere in Hawaii There's a heaven that waits for you Kissed by trade winds, your cares are few On an island beyond the blue The magic starlight will beckon from above The tropic moonlight will guide you to my love Somewhere in Hawaii Nature fashioned our rendezvous Golden treasures I'll share with you on an island where dreams come true. The magic starlight will beckon from above. The tropic moonlight will guide you to my love. Somewhere in Hawaii, nature fashioned our rendezvous. Golden treasures I'll share with you on an island where dreams come true. Let's share a couple of things, a couple of skateboard items here. In late '87. My camera's crooked. Yeah, it's close enough. In late '87, when I was still riding for Powell Peralta, the Powell team had gotten really big, so they gathered all of us from all over the country, all over the world, and they brought pretty much the entire team to the warehouse, the factory, to get together, kind of like to for team camaraderie, but also for us to get a chance to meet people that didn't live near us that were on the team. So they arranged to have us all just kind of get together for a long weekend and skate and just kind of hang out and have a good time. And there's an ad actually from that thing where we're all kind of wearing these team jackets with a bunch of silk screens all over them, and we're on the bottom of the mini ramp. I think in the ad, oddly enough, in the ad, Steve Caballero is in the ad and he's about to tackle me. You can see him like, "I'm coming after you, kid." And so that's in there. But anyway, so that was from that trip. At one point, of course, they said, "Okay, you're all here. We're all going to go to the warehouse," and it was one of those things. You guys can take as much as you can carry, and it's yours. And so everybody, was grabbing shirts and stickers and such. And I'm kind of going through there and grabbing a few things. But then I stumbled across this box that looked like just kind of a bunch of just junk, just kind of thrown in there, just off to the side, and obviously just refuse. It's like, oh, we don't know what to do with this junk, so we're just going to throw it over there. So I start looking in there, and I'm like, hey, this isn't junk. So let's start with the first thing I found in there. This is a board from, I think like the early 80s, probably like 80, 81. And it's called a General Issue. So this is a street board of the time, because back then, the street board was literally just, I'm going to ride down the street and stuff. So they made a smaller board and just kind of cruiser shape, and it's completely flat. But it's a holdover. I don't know who made these boards. I'm not sure if these were made at the Powell factory. Some were and some weren't. Maybe these were. But the General Issue, according to Stacy Peralta, the General Issue was the first skateboard with full-length graphic. Because until then, it was sort of just the center. So this was from Stacy Peralta, the first board to have graphics go all the way from the top to the bottom. And so this was in that pile of junk. And I've had it signed by George Powell and Alan Gelfand and Steve Caballero and Mike McGill and Jamie Godfrey back there. Jay Smith, Scotty Foss is on here, up there. Scotty Foss is ripping again. Jeez. Yeah, so inspiring. But yes, so I've got my Bones Brigade guys, class of 79, Bones Brigade. So I found this in there, and I think they had a bunch of these at some point, because eventually they re-released with a different graphic, and it was the Ripper graphic that they put on these boards. So you can find those with the same shape, but with the Ripper graphic. So it's kind of a shame they painted over the original General Issue graphics and screened on, but they needed to sell this stuff that was kind of sitting there. So that's one of the things that I got, and it's got the little dragon on top. But such a cool board. This, for me, there's in one of the early magazines, there's a sequence of Ray Bones Rodriguez doing an ollie kind of over a tire in a ditch, and he's riding one of these. And so from then, I was like, I gotta have one of those. And so for me, I was like, okay, I'm grabbing this. I don't care what you guys are all grabbing. I'm grabbing this piece of junk. So that was in there. One of the boards I don't have anymore was a Quicksilver, one of the metal slalom boards, and I sold that one a while back, unfortunately, so I don't have that. But that was also in the box of junk, and some other cool things. But so this also was in the box of junk. A GNS. Stacy Peralta Warptail 2, right? The Warptail, I can't even read it, it's so small. No, it just says Warptail. Stacy Peralta Warptail. Yes, just buried in a box of junk. And I was like, wow, I was so excited to see that. And, you know, in 87, they were like, what am I going to do with this thing? Nobody cared about the old stuff then. And so it was just sitting there. And I finally got Stacy to autograph it when he was inducted in the Skateboard Hall of Fame. And yes, so I'm going to take a brief moment, hopefully not too much time, for the people that aren't skateboarders. I want to kind of explain the importance of this to us. So this is probably circa 77, 78. So Stacy was riding this board. Within just a year, boards were drastically different. I have an example, it's a reshoe, but I'm going to compare some things for people so they can understand what's going on here. So within just like a year, boards got really big. They got much wider and bigger trucks, bigger wheels, and just more high tech. So compare that to this thing, if you can. You can see how small it is compared to this board. It's a very small board. Yeah, you can hide it behind this board. Yeah, so much shorter. If I can try to line it up. Much shorter, much narrower, but also much thicker. Like it's big, heavy hunk of oak. This thing weighs almost the same as this setup with everything on it, just the board. So there's that. And then I will compare. Let me put this down. If it will stay. Let's take a look now at the modern skateboard. So the modern skateboard has trimmed back down a little bit, but as you can see, the nose and the tail are pretty much the same length, so they don't have the weird short thing. They're a little narrower, but the popsicle stick. And there's a reason that they ended up here, because this is just, for modern skateboarding, practical. Just equal leverage going forward or backward, board switched around the other way. So, and even compared to the modern skateboard, it's still really little. Just a teeny little thing. And so, let me put the modern skateboard back down. Thank you, Powell, for the setup. So, you know, that's all fine and dandy, you know, when you're thinking about that. But then, so I'm going to show you a photo out of this Glenn Friedman Stesic book, the Dogtown book. So when people say, "Oh, wow, you know, those guys are great," and they were, you know, they kind of led the way and blah 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 blah. But so here's a photo of Stacy Peralta riding in a very large concrete structure on this little thing. It has no leverage. It's really heavy. Has rubberized grip tape. And it has, like, this was like cutting edge because of the warp tail. Before that, they just had a wedge of wood that they would just glue on top for a little bit of kick and leverage. So this was high tech. They made a warp tail. they bent the wood and they made it so you had a kick tail built into the wood. But so imagine, if you will, riding a board that's like 7 inches wide, 28 or 9 inches long, and even thinking about that. Just thinking about, I'm just going to go up to the top and go over and come back in. it's mind-boggling. And see, even a year later, Stacy's already riding a bigger board with different grip tape, wider trucks, and better protection. Because then, with the volleyball knee pads, there's no protection. That's just there for looks. If you fall, you're getting hurt. So, but yeah, so for maybe people that might not quite understand, and even some skaters that don't really understand that they were making up things on these very small, very ineffective and inefficient skateboards, and creating something that did not exist. So that's why the skateboarder guys are like really freaked out and totally into this stuff now. But anyway, yes, one man's junk is now another man's junk. I don't know why I love you like I do. I don't know why, I just do. I don't know why you thrill me like you do. I don't know why you just do. You never seem to want my romancing. The only time you hold me is when we're dancing. I don't know why I love you like I do. I don't know why, I just do. I don't know why I love you like I do. I don't know why, I just do. I don't know why you thrill me like you do. I don't know why, you just do. You never seem to want my romancing. The only time you hold me is when we're dancing. I don't know why I love you like I do. I don't know why, I just thought I saw you out on the avenue, but I guess it was just someone who looked a lot like I remember you do. I thought I heard your voice in a bar making a choice, but I guess it was just someone who sounded a lot like I remember you do. But that's impossible, it's that's impossible, it's that's impossible, it's impossible. 'Cause you're in New York and I'm not. You're in Tokyo but I'm not. You're in Nova Scotia but I'm not. You're everywhere that I'm not. You're everywhere that I'm not. I'm not, I'm not, I'm not. I thought I felt your touch in my car on my clutch, but no, it was just someone who felt a lot like I remember you do. But that's impossible, it's that's impossible, it's that's impossible, it's impossible. 'Cause I'm in New York, but I'm not. Oops. You're in Tokyo, but I'm not. You're in Nova Scotia, but I'm not. You're everywhere that I'm not. You're everywhere that I'm not. You're everywhere that I'm not. I'm not, I'm not, I'm not. I thought I saw you out on the avenue, but I guess it was just someone who looked a lot like I remember you do. I thought I felt your touch in my car, but no such luck. No, it was just someone who felt a lot like I remember you do. 'Cause that's impossible, it's that's impossible, it's that's impossible, it's impossible. 'Cause you're in New York, but I'm not. You're in Tokyo, but I'm not. You're in Nova Scotia, but I'm not. You're everywhere that 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 I'm not. I'm not. You're everywhere that I'm not.